Welcome back, ladies and gents. Lee Snyder from numberball.com here to preview the two-match UCL slate this Tuesday on DraftKings. And we are now into the second leg ties in the quarterfinals. So let's go ahead and preview these two matches. Then I'll go through a couple DFS plays at each position as usual, and then get you a couple bets to think about here and then send you on your way. So important thing to remember in these second leg ties, as I have previously mentioned, is that we have to be aware of the scoreline from the prior match, because the team with the better aggregate score over the course of the two matches will be the one advancing, of course taking into account away goals. But very important here to understand what the scoreline is and how that's going to affect the match flow and tactics from each team. So we've got Chelsea at home here hosting Porto. Chelsea got a 2-0 win on the road last time out, so they're really in the driver's seat here. Porto, on the other hand, is going to have to dig themselves out of this hole. So they are going to have to be the more aggressive team here, while Chelsea will be more content to sit on this 2-0 lead, especially at home. Chelsea is a minus 120 favorite as I record this on Monday morning, and this match has a standard 2.5 total. The other match, a lot more exciting if you ask me. It is PSG hosting Bayern Munich. PSG won a really exciting 3-2 game in the prior matchup here. Really important result for PSG, getting those 3 away goals. So Bayern has a lot to do here, even though they are down by just 1 goal on the aggregate scoreline. Bayern are actually a slight plus 115 favorite here, and this match has a 3.5 total. So on paper, this is the match that we expect to see more goals. Should be more open as well. We know Bayern are just a very open attacking team, would rather outscore you than shut you out, and PSG very dangerous on the counter. So when you take into account the way these teams like to play and the close score line, I think we see a very open game again with lots of attacking. And probably goals on both sides. So that is the more attractive match for upside at this point. Although for that reason, I think some Chelsea attackers could be very low owned in tournaments. So just something to keep in mind. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the plays. And I think roster construction is very clear cut on this slate. It didn't take me long to go through the player pool here and quickly identify who I thought were the optimal plays on this slate. So beginning at the forward position, my high-end play is going to be Neymar at 10.1K. Yes, PSG are technically protecting a lead here, but this match could change very quickly if Bayern get a goal or two. So I'm not too worried about PSG, just sitting deep and playing defense, which they will for much of this match. But again, it's going to be very open, and if Bayern get a couple goals early in this match, that's going to force PSG to attack. So not putting too much stock into the current scoreline. I think Neymar just makes too much sense here. He's going to be taking the majority of set pieces for PSG, although Di Maria will contribute, and then Neymar also takes PKs. Just not really any player on this slate that can match his combination of both floor and upside. So happy to just slot in Neymar there at 10.1K. So the next forward position, there's not much at the bottom end, but I think Leroy Sané at 6.9K is a really good value here. Bayern need to attack. They need to be aggressive here. So on the wings, Coman and Sané should be crossing a ton, creating chances, shooting. Sane did not have a great game last time out, but he was partially rested over the weekend, and I think he's going to come into this Champions League match fresh. And like I said, Bayern just need to attack. So I think Sane at 6.9K makes a lot of sense. All right, let's move over to the midfield position, and this is the easiest position on the slate for me. Just 2 very obvious plays, beginning with Joshua Kimmich at 7.8K. I have no idea why they did not bring his price up to over 9K. We're talking about the monopoly set piece taker for a Bayern team that needs to attack here. I believe in the reverse fixture, he had something like 22 crosses. So just a huge game for Kimmich last time out. Let me just confirm here for you. Yeah, so he had over 34 DK points thanks to 22 crosses and 10 shots assisted. Just ridiculous numbers there, but I think we can honestly expect, maybe not quite that level of production, but something very similar here from Kimmich in a game where Bayern need to attack. So love him at that price. All right, the next midfield play I am looking at is Sergio Oliveira at 7.3K for Porto. So just a quick note here. Oliveira was suspended for Porto's last match against Chelsea, but when this guy is in, he's their leading scorer on the season. He takes all of their set pieces and he takes their PKs. He is by far the most reliable player for Porto, and we know they need to attack here. So Oliveira is just a no-brainer. That midfield of Kimmich and Oliveira is just super solid. Whether it's a cash build or a tournament build, I think it seems a little crazy to go away from either of them, given their role on set pieces and given the upside that both of them frankly have in matches where they need to attack and score goals. So love both of those plays at the midfield position. All right, moving on to defender. I think there's a lot of ways you could go at the defender position here, and it will depend on how lineups shake out. But one thing that we do know is that Lucas Hernandez is going to miss this game for Bayern Munich, which means Alphonso Davies should come in and start at left back for Bayern. Only 4.2K. Again, Bayern needs to attack. We know Davies is a very attack-minded player, so I think you're going to see Davies in PSG's final third a lot in this match. So for me, he's an easy play at 4.2K. All right, the second defender position I think can be filled by numerous players. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Reece James at 6K. So this is actually the higher end play, with Davies being the value play, but Reece James at 6K, just such a solid floor, and of late he's actually been the primary corner taker for Chelsea over Mason Mount. So much like Oliveira and Kimmich, you're getting set pieces, and it's only for 6K, so a great value there on Reece James. I just would caution you that it is possible that Chelsea rotate here and Reece James does not start. If James does not start, we might see, Hudson-Odoi start instead. He's over 7K and only forward eligible, so not a great replacement, but it's also possible that Marcus Alonso starts over Ben Chilwell on the left wing for Chelsea, and he is an easy pivot off Reece James if James does not get the start here. Okay. Finally, the goalkeeper position. So last week I loved Keylor Navas. That was my goalkeeper play. And even in a game where he gave up 2 goals, he had, I think it was 10 saves. So really strong performance from Navas. And I think this match actually sets up even better for Navas than last week. PSG are at home. And again, we know Bayern are going to force the issue here. They need to attack. He should see an unbelievable amount of shots on goal here, which is going to give him really, really high save volume. So we don't have to worry about a win or a clean sheet, which of course is possible. But I think Navas just a very safe play. Only the second highest priced keeper of the 4 keepers on the slate, and has a great opportunity to make a ton of saves here. Navas did come off with an injury over the weekend, but it does look like he's going to be healthy enough to play. Nonetheless, keep a close eye on that. If Navas does not play, I think Rico is the replacement for PSG. And although he's not as talented, I think he still makes a lot of sense just because of the match flow that I explained there. All right, guys, those are the DFS plays. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward build, if you ask me. Not going to mess with that midfield. I think a little more room to make adjustments at the forward or defender position if you please. But those are the plays I like, and I think it's quite straightforward. So anyway, let's move on to the bets. There's a couple that I like here, and it kind of falls in line with this theme of knowing that Bayern need to attack while PSG are likely to defend a bit more and play on the counter. So a couple bets that I am looking at. Total corners in the PSG Bayern match. I'm going to go over 10.5 at plus 100. That's what DK Sportsbook is offering right now. So Bayern had 15 corners alone in the reverse fixture. So I think getting the total corners in the match over 10.5 is very reasonable at plus 100 here. While PSG are defending, while Navas is making saves, this is going to lead to Bayern earning themselves corners. So I think there's a very, very good shot here at plus 100 to go over 10.5 corners. And then to kind of follow up with that, and actually slight correction, it's 11.5 corners. So over 11.5 corners at plus 148. I was looking at over 10.5 shots on goal, and that's the other bet I like here. That is plus 100. So I think if we look at the shots on goal in the prior match, do not have the numbers in front of me, but it was well over 10.5. I think from Bayern alone. So again, I think that's something we can be very confident in here. Just Bayern having a ton of the ball, putting shots on net, and winning themselves a fair number of corners. Of course, if Bayern does pick up a couple goal lead here, I think we're then going to see PSG force the issue. So regardless of the match flow, I do like over 10.5 shots on goal total and over 11.5 corners total. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Good luck on this slate on Tuesday. Hope you are able to win some money, whether it's in DFS or betting. And again, Lee Snyder. You can find all my content at numberball.com. Good luck, and I'll see you guys next time.